If you keep saying, I'm busy, you might be accidentally holding yourself back from your next promotion. Smart leaders never say that. And it's not because they have less to do, it's because they know it sends the wrong message. Today, I'm going to show you what to say and what to do instead. My name is Helen Bryant, and as a leadership coach, I see this challenge often with my clients. So to help you, I'm going to cover why I'm busy is actually a leadership red flag, 3 specific habits that help leaders stay in control, even when things are a bit chaotic, and exactly what to say instead. Okay, let's start with mindset and why I'm busy is such a red flag in the first place. When you say I'm busy, you might think you're showing how much you're juggling, that you're getting through your to-do list, that you're on it. In fact, we all know that being super productive is often seen as a badge of honor. But what your team actually hears is, you're not important enough for my time. Or even worse, I'm not in control of what I'm doing. It can be especially damaging for your team because if they keep hearing you're busy, they may feel like they're just sort of fitting in around the edge of your real job. And if they're unclear on something important, they may even stop waiting for your guidance. And to your cross-functional colleagues, you can come across as reactive and unavailable, even when you're working incredibly hard. So here's the thing, saying I'm busy isn't a badge of honor, it's a warning sign, and it can quietly put up a wall between you and the people you're meant to lead. And this is the difference between a manager mindset and a leader mindset. Managers carry a big to-do list in their heads, but leaders create space to think, to guide, and to enable and empower others. So instead of signaling how much you've got on your plate, let's look at how to show you are in control of it. So imagine water rushing down a hillside. It's not being guided, it goes wherever it wants to. It's going everywhere. It's overflowing, it's soaking everything in its path, including you, and it's causing chaos. Now, it makes me smile when I hear managers talk about this magical future time when things will finally calm down and they'll get to the important stuff. What they're really doing is let the water flow wherever it wants. But when you put in the right system in place, when you plan, when you think ahead, when you engage your team, what you're doing is building dams and channels. You're directing the flow. You make sure the energy and your team's energy goes where they'll have the most impact. This is all about creating systems, routines, and rituals, and it can make a huge difference. The first is to block time to think. It is absolutely essential, and yet it's often missing. If you're always reacting, you're never going to have time to lead. You need to block thinking time into your calendar, creating a rhythm and a routine. There are 3 that really make a difference. The first is quarterly, where you reflect on the big picture. This is where you will make sure that the priorities are clear for the coming 12 weeks. Next, monthly. This is where you're reviewing what's coming up, adjusting in flight, making sure that any changes that have happened are being dealt with. And then thirdly, weekly. And this is where the rubber hits the road. This is all about what the priorities are for the week. And for you, it's spotting those moments to lead. So who do you need to support? What conversations do you need to have in order that your team are able to do their best work? And this will all move you from reactive mode into being on the front foot. And when someone brings you a question, you're going to be much more on it to know, is that in the important zone, or is that something that could just wait a little amount of time? Next, protect your one-to-ones like they're valuable treasure, which indeed they are. One-to-ones are where your leadership really happens. They're not just check-ins. If you're constantly too busy for them, you're missing your most powerful leadership tool. They give your team clarity, they give you insight, they ensure that you're both on the same page. And what you'll be able to do is solve problems before they even become problems. Think of them as a catch-all for coaching, prioritizing, and helping your team to do their best work. The more you block time for these sessions, the easier it is to lead. And if this is a weak spot for you, I have a free one-on-one toolkit that can help you get the most out of these valuable conversations. The link is below. Next, what about all those quick questions that pop up during the week? I remember walking through my department, and as I went, I'd constantly be stopped with, Helen, do you just have a minute? Instead of being always available, be predictably available. So try this. Block time when you're open for questions and conversations. Make it visible on your calendar. This is often called office hours. Such a great way to channel the conversations so that it's a time when you can really focus on the great conversations you need to have there. Or simply say to your team, look, I'm around from 4 till 5. If you've got a quick question, that's a great time to catch me. If you're remote, keep a Zoom or a Teams link open during that slot so that you can just hop onto calls. This creates clear boundaries and reduces interruptions, and definitely builds trust with your team because they know that you are available to them. Next, let's talk about language. So when someone brings you a challenge or a problem, it's very easy to jump into problem-solving mode. And by that, I mean telling them what they need to do to solve this problem. But what that does is create a bottleneck where you're doing the thinking for everyone. Instead, use one of the most powerful coaching questions. What do you think we should do about this? This is just fantastic because it gets them thinking, and it gives you time to think. So it sort of stops that automatic reaction of solving the problem because they often know the answer. They'll get it right. Now, when your boss or a colleague comes with something new to add into either your work or your team's work, that's one of the moments where it's quite easy sometimes for that I'm busy to kind of come out in as a kind of defensive mechanism. But what I want you to do is think about your language and open up the conversation. So try saying something like, let me see where this fits in with the current priorities, and open up the conversation. Do they see the priorities the same way as you, or is there a mismatch? If it's about resourcing a new project or a piece of work, a good question to ask is, can we look at how we resource this together? So instead of just taking that action, having a conversation about how that work gets done, who's involved, and getting really clear on it. Because what that does is you'll often find that you'll have a much clearer scope, the timing will be much more specific, and then you'll be able to assess how that work fits in. And often it can be simplified. It's a really valuable conversation to have. The third one is, if you're unclear at that point, is finding out if it's more important than other things that you're doing. So asking if this is more important, what should we pause or make space for to do it? And what this does is end up being a conversation about how those priorities fit together. And the important thing is the alignment, that both of you leave with a really common view and that you haven't just taken the task on and they think you're going to do it without a mutual appreciation of what's involved. These phrases show that you're in control and that you're a proactive problem solver who will fit and coordinate the work for the best results for your organization. You see, saying I'm busy keeps you stuck, but smart leaders create space to think, they hold meaningful one-to-ones, they set clear boundaries, and then they communicate all of that with confidence. I'd really encourage you to try one of these phrases this week, especially if you feel the I'm busy about to just pop out of your mouth. Let me know in the comments which one you're going to try. Now, if you want to take this further, in this next video, I walk through my full planning system so you can really understand in more detail how it works. This is the exact framework I use on my Manager OS course, and it will help you stay in control and lead with confidence. You can watch it here.